There's a lot of talk in the agricultural world these days about how to keep cows happy. That's not just for their own sake, but because it turns out that happy cows are healthier cows. They produce more milk and meat, and they do it more efficiently, which means that we can take better care of them and still turn a profit. So researchers have been trying to figure out what makes cows happy, and it turns out that one key ingredient is friendship. Cows have best friends, and having those friends around can make them pretty darn content. But this is also kind of a headache for farmers, because cows are the only animals that want their besties around. Turns out that humans do too. Hi, and welcome to this channel. Say you're a dairy farmer, milking 2,500 cows twice a day. You'd probably like to get that done pretty quickly so you can move on to the next task. But cows don't really like to be separated from their friends. So up until recently, farmers have had to hire lots of people to wrangle the cows into the milking parlor 2 or 3 times a day, and that costs money. It can be hard to find workers willing to do that kind of labor. And even when farmers do find workers, it can be dangerous for both them and the cows. Every year in the US alone, 2,200 people are injured while working with cattle. But a few decades ago, researchers figured out a way to get the cows to come to the milking parlor on their own, without any hurting at all. The key was giving the cows something that they really, really wanted. A food reward is usually the go-to incentive. But researchers knew there had to be something better than food, because cows will work way harder for a chance to hang out with their friends than they will for food. Researchers figured out that if 2 cows are friends, each one will give the other a little head nudge about every 2 minutes. And if you record those interactions and play them back for a cow, she'll go out of her way to try to get those precious moments of friendship back. Like she'll go through a maze to get to her bestie, even if there's delicious food waiting for her at the end. So instead of trying to tempt cows with food, modern dairy farmers simply put up some mirrors. Cows are naturally curious, and they love checking themselves out. So they're easily lured into the milking parlor, where their reflection seems to be waiting for them. Once inside, they see their actual friends in adjacent stalls, and are free to hang out with them while they get their udders suctioned. This system has been so successful that today's dairy farmers rarely need to physically move their cows from pasture to the milking parlor and back again. The cows mostly do it all by themselves. It's not just dairy farmers who have found ways to exploit the social nature of cows. Beef producers want their cows to be chill when it has time to load up and head to market. And they've found that if they leave a couple of familiar cows in the pen, the rest of the herd will stay put until all of their buddies are in the trailer, making the whole process much easier. But sometimes the presence of friends isn't enough to keep cows calm. When researchers showed 2 best friends being separated at market, both cows became seriously stressed, even though they hadn't been in a stressful situation before. They didn't eat or drink for 2 days, and their stress hormones stayed high for weeks. Now these 2 were best friends, but it's not like they're in love or anything. Cows don't really have romantic relationships. They don't even really have families in the way that humans do. Mammal researchers believe that cows basically have a bunch of friends that they interact with on an individual level. Sometimes those friendships are stronger than others, but they don't form groups or herds within a herd based on family ties. So maybe you're rethinking that it would be totally easy to trick a cow into doing stuff if she's not really loyal to anyone in particular. But it turns out that even if a cow doesn't have a super close relationship with any particular cow, she does have a fairly close relationship with her environment. If you move a cow to a new pasture, she'll spend a good amount of time just standing around sniffing everything, trying to figure out where she is. She'll also spend a lot of time searching for the most comfortable patches of grass to lie down in. And once she finds it, she'll tend to stay there. So farmers who rotate pastures quickly can easily stress their cows out, especially if they don't have their favorite sniffing buddy to help them acclimate to the new place. It turns out that cows have social needs just like us, but they don't have the same coping mechanisms. They can't say text their bestie to see how she's doing or hop on a bus to go visit her. And they definitely can't watch videos about their favorite cow YouTubers. So it's up to us to make sure that they get the social interaction they need to be happy and healthy.